So we are in a series, Advent series, out of the book of Isaiah, who is a major prophet. I talked about the job of prophets, how they speak for God to the people. I talked about how the big part of what they do is forthtelling, right? To tell people to raise their games, to tell us that we need to be more selfless and more loving, and we need to care for the needs of the oppressed and the poor and look out for the widows and the orphans. The big part of the prophet's job is to call people to do the right thing. But they also are involved in foretelling, in looking around the corner and announcing what's happening. Part of the reason the prophets do this is to authenticate their own prophetic gift. Is to say, I am speaking for God, let me prove it to you by telling you what's going to happen, and then when it happens, you'll go, oh, we ought to trust him. Part of it is also to offer encouragement to us that God has this under control. And so I just said, look, there's all these kinds of prophecies, there's all these kinds of ways we hear things here that get completed later in the story. Not in a way that could be controlled because they happen hundreds of years later and they're fulfilled in ways that almost nobody sees and foresees coming. But then when it happens, you look at it and you go, oh my goodness, this story is holding together. So we're looking at a few of these prophecies, 4 of the prophetic statements that get made by Isaiah. And in this sermon, I looked at Isaiah 11, verses 1 through 9, and this comes after this description that God is going to judge the northern 10 tribes. He's going to send the Assyrians. They're going to chop down the forest, the description of Israel. The axe is going to go to the tree. There's going to be no songbirds left, no squirrels, no rabbits. The forest is going to be ravaged. But then in Isaiah chapter 11, it says, but then out of the barrenness, out of the darkness will come a shoot from the stump of Jesse, pointing to the lineage of King David, which is pointing to the lineage of Judah, which is pointing to the prophecies that were made earlier on, and just building on that. And we see who this shoot of Jesse is going to be. It's pointing to Jesus. It's pointing to what Jesus is going to do. Points ahead to heaven. It's a fascinating, encouraging passage. And the more you know about it, as is often true with all these prophecies, the more you understand what's going on, the more you shake your head in disbelief, like, oh my goodness, this is true. Be encouraged. Dig into Isaiah. Have a good study.